Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and let's talk about the quadruple banner system. I actually think that Hoiverse is doing a little bit of a sneaky something. I'll share with you about it in this video, but I asked your thoughts here. One day ago, we had a community post. It has already 8,000 votes of you guys have already voted. It seems that you guys actually like it quite a lot. 56%, so about 4,000 plus people of you actually say that you really like it a lot, this quadruple banner system. Of course, we know that moving forward, Hoyoverse is not going to implement it every single patch, but it's just nice to see whether some of you want, 28% of you, so like about 2,000 of you actually wanted to have it every single patch. Some of you that want, like 4k of you want it every single patch, and 10%, about 1k, rather than not implement this, and even like some, like 5% of you actually say that you really are upset. So 400 people are actually really upset that they introduced this quadruple banner system. Let me share with you my thoughts as we go along with all your comments as well, so we can see exactly what the community is feeling. Personally, I feel that the biggest catch about the quadruple banner system is if they do it occasionally, it's actually really shitty, especially if they don't give us like a forward warning. If they do it every single patch, at least we know characters will come back like way faster, so we can expect 3 months our characters come back, 3 months is coming back. Where it actually gives Hoyoverse power is actually if they do it occasionally, which is a really tough thing, because now you have no idea when or how to predict patterns of when characters are coming back. Suddenly, if let's say they come out in the next 2 patches, they decide, let's make a hunt the flavor of month, bam, rerun all the hunt characters, or let's just rerun all the supports at one time. Boom, Robin, Runmei, and Sparkle all rerun at the same time. Or let's just rerun all 4 supports all at once, defensive units, and then Luo Ca, Fu Xuan, Aventurine all come out all at once. I think that is really shitty. But let's go on with some of the remarks that you guys have, and I also want to share my thoughts on it as well. We will sort here by the most popular comments first, and of course, whatever YouTube thinks. I think how they do it is it sorts by upvotes versus downvotes. So make sure you guys, as you see our comments in even this video or any of our posts, upvote and downvote the comments so that we can actually get a representation of what you guys want to hear as well. But first things first, by Mark7495. I mean, if they do it every patch, it's good, since it means faster reruns. But if they do this occasionally when they're like clearly telling you to spend cash or fail FOMO, then I don't really like it. This is exactly what I mean, Mark, it's exactly what I'm feeling also. And let me just heart it, just to show that I've read it, so that I can keep track. This one is really critical, in my opinion, because if they keep track of like how much spending we have, how much resources we have, I am sure that Hoyoverse has like a database of stats of how much Stellar Jades, how many pools saved up the whole player base generally has, and then every like big character like Akirion or something, it wipes out a little bit, and then the players have very low resources, so they actually do their spending. If I am not wrong, right now a lot of us probably might have some saving. If you have 40 pools in your savings, that is probably already substantial enough for them to think about it, rather than we have all like dead broke, then it'll be a different thing. So introducing this quadruple patch now is nice because we get characters that otherwise would have never came about back into the game. But the downside is, if they do this because they sense that the players are saving up too much and then they want to whack you with FOMO, that's when I think it's really bad moving forward. And it's a really sneaky strategy on Hoyoverse's part, to be really honest. So thank you again for your comment, Mark. 210 of you also agree. I think it's exactly the same thing. If they choose, they use it as a weapon, because this is like a double-edged sword, right? This quadruple banner. It can be either used as a weapon or it can be used as a healing sword or staff or something like that to help the community out. But Hoyoverse maybe might use it more as a weapon more often than not. That's just my gut feeling. Next up, we have Tomesha JR. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. Honestly, if we went with a patch system where every other patch is just a single star and run a quad banner like this, I could see it out working out great. Allows other people to get characters that they miss, which otherwise could take years to get. Exactly. I totally agree with Thomas's comment and the 34 people who voted on it. If they run this patch system where every single patch you get a quadruple banner, I think it's totally good. Why is it the case? You may think that, oh, there's so many characters to choose from, it's very difficult to like decide between all of these characters. 4 characters, how do you want me to spend the money? It's actually not too bad, because every time a character appears, 4 characters appear in a quadruple banner, the character that you missed is coming back sooner than otherwise you would not have. The worst case situation is you have 2 characters on a banner that you really love both of them, but because of the lack of a quadruple banner system, they will take like 1 year to come back. 2 or maybe like 1.5 years as the game goes by because there's so many new characters. So if this system, this quadruple system, 1 new character and like quadruple characters, I really think is a very, very fantastic system, because if you don't like the new character that comes out, you can always pick up like 3 other spanking characters. It keeps the interest in the game going also. Thank you again for your comment, Mr. Thomas. I think it's a really, really good point as well. Mel Iodus, being free to play, I actually like this system because you can choose whether characters out of the 4 that you want, whichever character you out of 4 that you want, not an addict where you feel like you need all characters. Banner selector in early 1.0 or 1 banner, choose their light codes would be good. So Mel is bringing from the point of view from a free-to-play player, which I know a lot of you are. I myself not really, so I tend to like to see your perspective as well, because I tend to just like pull characters to make content. But he's saying that being free-to-play, actually like this system because you can actually decide which character you want. You have a big amount of choice. But at the same time, having to always make a choice of like 4 characters every patch, you probably don't even have enough to even get the character on the banner. So I think it's a tricky way also. Seeing 4 characters that you really like and then you realize that you do not have pool resources is a kind of sucky feeling, I think also. But of course, great. If you have the resources, you're free to play, you saved up, is great. But let's say you pull on this banner because there's like Robin that you really want, there's Face Hell that you really want, and then next banner 4 comes out. Maybe you have Ronmei, you have Akirion that comes out. I think it's going to be a little bit trickier for free to play because of the overload of banners and characters that you really want. So I think it's really like a double-edged sword in this case. Thank you again so much for your comment from a free to play perspective, Mel. I really appreciate it. Letter sequence, conceptually is good. I know people who started playing during Doctor Ratio and because they like a specific character from 1 point something and hasn't rerun for 8 months, so they're holding up their pools wanting to get them. I think this is a really good point by Letter sequence. Is one of the reasons why they actually brought back the quad or brought into this quadruple banner system. Is we were doing our predictions chart, right? Kafka hasn't arrived for like 7 months. Black Swan hasn't came back for like 6 months. Zila even longer than that. So people who join the game because they watch some old YouTube video of like Kafka going her spiral boom kind of thing, and then they really like that, or maybe they like edginess of Blade. They joined the game because of these characters. For me, I personally joined like because of Kafka way back in CBT 2 already. But then again, if you join for these characters and you never see them for like 8 months since you joined the game, since Kafka last joined the banner, it's gonna leave a sour taste in your mouth, right? The character that you came for hasn't came about and you don't know when they're gonna come. So I think it is a good idea conceptually. But the key is how are they gonna use it to the benefit of everyone rather than a FOMO fear stick that they use and throw at you to force your hand at pulling. That is a very, very nasty thing because we don't really have that much resources. More characters banner coming out means that now we have 6 characters to choose from every patch rather than 4 previously, and our resources, not as if it went up by 50%, it's still the same or maybe like slightly more, maybe a little bit, but who knows. So thank you again for your question, Letter Sequence. I think it's overall a good thing because they're bringing more characters back from the past too. So definitely too. Hachiman, I don't understand how we're doing it occasionally is highly voted. If they only do so often means they want to sell stuff together as a bundle and capitalize on FOMO of anything. Hachiman is actually commenting on why there's such like a huge occasionally is good, which I actually agree. I actually don't think occasionally is the optimal thing for what Hoyoverse is supposed to do. If they bring it occasionally back into the game, exactly what he's mentioning over here, which I totally agree. You can just bundle the FOMO by follow-up attacking, which is exactly what they're doing. Face Shell, you slap in a character like Robin together in the same patch, or you even slap in maybe in future like Doctor Ratio plus Aventurine, or maybe you bundle characters like Silverwolf and I don't know, Fu Shen to complete your quantum teams. DOT, they're doing it already with like Kafka and Black Swan. So they're actually doing a lot of FOMO, selling you pair characters to make up good teams all at once, which I think is very, very, if used incorrectly, it can be very toxic. And if you use this occasionally and we have no way to predict when it's coming out, means we cannot do planning. We just have to save our resources and just keep praying, please don't come back, which it doesn't really do the community any good in my opinion. If it comes back very, very often, or at least they tell us every 6 months you will have a quadruple banner that comes out. Every like 9 months a quadruple banner will come out. Then at least we can plan for something. We can kind of like predict what the characters they're going to bring about. Maybe it's the second rerun. If they give us more roadmap of what is going to happen for this quadruple banner system, I think it's helpful. Right now it feels like at any point of time, 3 months from now, they can whack you with an Akirion Jiao banner combo, or they can whack you with like some other nice fancy combo that work well together. For example, like maybe Firefly and Runmei both together, or like Boot Hill Runmei both together. Then that's going to be really tricky, especially if you want to build break teams. So yeah, I do think that occasionally is actually the least favorite option. I rather them not do it at all, rather than have it occasionally quadruple banner, to be really honest. It's quite a sneaky situation from Hoyover's perspective. On one side, they are saying it's great for the community, we are doing a lot for you, giving you all the old characters, but it's actually a weapon in their favor because now they can choose whenever they want. They see an opportunity, they seize it, and we don't have much information to predict anything because there's no unofficial information for quadruple banners, right? It's only just hopium, and anything can change last minutes because it's just changing the image on their UI, right? So they can actually change anything just the day before. So next up we have former Amelia Best Wi-Fi. As much as this pains me for the insane amount of FOMO it gives, this is a good change in the long run because we won't have cases like Eula or Shenhe. These are like Genshin Impact characters where Hoyoverse has actually 2 entirely new games since their last banners. I mean, yes, it is a very good point. I do agree that one of the benefits of quadruple banner system is bringing characters who haven't appeared for a really long time back into the game. So you won't have characters that haven't been appeared for like 1 year, 2 years. As we go along, if we keep having new characters and patch, we will reach that situation where a character that you want, you might like 2 years later and the character still hasn't came about. So I think it's good. What I think they could do is like a selector banner, right? Any one that came out from 1.0 patch, you can actually select on the banner, like maybe a permanent banner, just that make it a rotating banner. So every 3 months, there's this limited selector banner that you have. So you can choose between maybe 3 supports. For example, you have a Runmei, Sparkle, and Robin banner, and they'll tell you the rotation. So these 3 months, we're going to have this Runmei, Sparkle, and Robin banner, and then after this, or maybe not 3 months is like too long, maybe 6 weeks, this banner will go on, but I'll tell you the roadmap. In the next 6 months, we will rotate towards a Preservation banner, then we'll rotate over to a Erudition banner, and then a Hunt banner. So at least it gives us like some form of prep, right? We actually know like what's going on. Or maybe if you want to like make a bit more surprise from Hoyover's point of view, you can even introduce it in a sense like, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a support coming up, but I'll put like a question mark, a mystery, so I leave you to guess. But at least we know the typing of what character it is. Is it a support? Is it a preservation unit? I think that's the best way like to balance both. It gives a bit of excitement in the gacha and also a bit of predictability, so we know like next one's going to be a support that's coming up, next one's going to be a DPS that's coming up, so we can actually plan our resources based on like trends. If you know it's a DPS, Akirion hasn't came back in a long time, chances are it might be Akirion that's coming up. But right now we have no visibility, we have no information, and information is very key in gacha games and super important. That's why we always like to look at like pool amounts that we have. That's why we like to think about like upcoming unofficial content, and like some of you really love, which is unfortunately not allowed. That's why we don't do it on this channel. But thank you again, former Amelia Best Wi-Fi, for the comment. And Lola Link, this one is another one that you guys are saying. You think that one of the characters should be on their first rerun who it feels more FOMO. What if you skip 2 characters to pick out on rerun and they run together? Okay, let me just try to absorb this. So you're saying that I think only one of the characters should be on their first rerun. So you're meaning that if the 2 characters that come out, like let's say quadruple banner system, if you have multiple characters that are on the second rerun, it feels like a bit more FOMO. Then that makes a lot of sense. Like if you have 4 characters, and out of these 4 characters, like 3 of them or something like that, one is a new character, 3 of them are like double the second rerun, so they haven't came back in like 8 months, so you don't even know when they're coming back for their third rerun. That makes sense. Like out of the 4, maybe one of them is like the second rerun, and some of them like first reruns and stuff like that. So they shouldn't like load up everything, triple second reruns, triple first reruns. That will be a bit more difficult. So yeah, this is one of the ways. So other than like maybe giving you a mystery teaser like we talked about in a while earlier, but at the same time, perhaps they could also consider making it standardized. There will always be one character on the first rerun, one character on the second rerun, and another character, the third character, will be on their third and rerun and beyond. So at least it gives like some kind of standardization. I think that's pretty good. But they will probably have to do 4 banners every single patch then. If not, they're going to like load up on the number of characters that are rerunning. So again, thank you for a comment, Lola Ling. I think it's an interesting perspective. Doing it every patch, every other patch is good. This is by Ariri. But they do need to work on more on which characters that they will put on, like I guess more information. I guess, work more on characters that they... I'm not understanding like this question very, very clearly. I guess you're saying that the character cast is just not that great because you probably have like double follow-up, double DOT, so it's too concentrated. If that's the case, yes, I totally agree with that also. Otherwise, put in more work with these characters they put on the banner. They actually thought about it very, very hard. Because Fei Xiao is a new character, works very well, Robin sells very well. They actually put in a lot of work on the banners. DOT hasn't came about for a long time, and DOT is not super popular as well, but a lot of people like Kafka and Black Swan for design. Generally, people who like Kafka don't mind Black Swan, and they play well together. So they actually know what they're doing. So I don't really super understand this question. I'm just gonna like it to acknowledge it, but maybe you can clarify. If any of you also watching this video, you have any other comments, do add it in the comment section below. Be happy to read it too. And let's do a few more. So this video won't be like a 1 hour video or something. Celeste Thorn. As someone who plans ahead and saves, this is low-key hellish. If they run a triple banner regularly, a triple rerun banner, so a quadruple banner, to the point where I can plan on it and it actually speeds up rerun frequency, amazing. However, with so many new characters, what I feel is with the same frequency of reruns with sudden bottlenecks, meaning characters that you have planned paced out are all at once now with no warning. Exactly right. So this is like the double-edged sword that we were talking about. It's either going to be really good because characters that you want come back, but it could also be really trash at the same time because all the characters that you want are all quadruply rerunning all at once. And then you are forced to make a decision. I think the real key here, the key word is with knowledge. You need to be able to, this is the point that he says, you have to be able to plan on it. If we are unable to plan on it, it's a weapon for Hoyoverse and it's actually a negative thing for the game state. If we can plan it, we are able to see a roadmap of some sorts for the quadruple banner. I don't care, we don't have a new roadmap for new characters, it's fine. But at least the reruns have to have some kind of predictability. They were already out before, so what for surprise us and like smack us with some surprise, right? At least we can plan like some of our account state. But the problem is now we can't. There's not much information, and Hoyoverse purposely gave it very little information. All they left us with is, yep, we'll release it sometime. Alright, thanks, bye. So they are probably going to see how successful this banner is to decide whether they want it to continue or not. Next up, we have Louis Baker here, 98, 94. Wish it was a 2+2 rather than a 3+1. 3+1 meaning that it's I guess you are meaning 3 new characters and 3 triple reruns and 1 rerun in the second half. He wished it was a bit more balanced. So instead of 4-2, like 4 new characters in the first half, 2 characters in the second half, he wishes it was like 3-3, so it's a bit more balanced. I think that makes a very good point. So triple makes more sense than a quadruple 2 because what's the benefit of having in the second half is you not only get more time to save, you get like 3 weeks more to save, but at the same time, you have visibility of the live stream. You can see what's coming next. You're able to plan like your resources. Do you want to pull now or watch the live stream and see what's coming up in 6 weeks time? So you have a huge 9-week allowance. So I definitely think that if they wanted to put quadruple banner, they should do it in the second half. Like, so they put it 2 or like 1+3. So 3 in the second half, 1 in like the first half. Otherwise, I think it makes sense to like have a 3-3, like so a 2+2 in his case. So like you have a triple banner, give us more visibility and more information, which is in line of like whatever you guys are saying as well. So I think it's a really good point. The quadruple banner system is honestly kind of douchey if I were to be like crude and honest. I don't really like the surprise quadruple banner system for our sake, for lack of information. And let's do this last question over here by Chutney. I think the banner system is a step towards the right direction, but if they keep introducing characters with their best in slot teammates, it may be problematic for free-to-play, cause Fei Xiao, Robin, and Topaz, best team and all of them being in the same patch is kind of diabolical. This is absolutely right. Chutney, you actually got it right. Like, it's really, really very toxic for all of them to be released in the same patch. If they did it such that like, one Fei Xiao and then they release a totally different team like that people are building, like maybe one Fei Xiao, one Kafka, and then another team like maybe characters that don't really work well with each other, like who knows, maybe Huo, something like that. So characters that are good but then they fit into like different team compositions, so you not necessarily like want all at the same time. At least more of the player base will be engaged, because regardless of whether you have like you play Doctor Ratio follow-up teams, regardless of whether you play DOT teams, regardless of whether you play like Akirion teams, everyone has something to pull for, keeps the whole community engaged, and at least you have a more resources to like save. You pull 1 per patch, go on to the next one. But loading everything up is just very, very bad in a nutshell, because people that care about follow-up attacking are dead broke and they're angry and they're upset because they feel very, very unfair treated. They don't have the resources they expected one, but now there's like 3 of them. And even if that's the case, how about the rest of the committee who just can't give two twats about follow-up teams? You're just still skipping everything anyway, and the engagement is super low. So it just does seem like a very monetizing patch to me, that they're trying to do this to increase the monetization, but they're not caring about the overall game state of the game. At least that's my perspective. But of course, it's a double-edged sword. The sword can be tilted and changed at any point of time. They can make it like very, very good for the game. But what they need to do is have that switch, and I'm not seeing that switch or information yet. So that's my honest opinion about this video. And thank you guys all also for sharing your opinion. If you found this video insightful and helpful, you like this kind of sharing, do leave a comment below as well. Like and subscribe for more such future content, and help share with any of your friends who are also finding this quadruple banner system maybe a bit unusual, and you want to share with them some additional thoughts that the community has. But anyways, thank you so much for your attention, and see you guys in the next video.